When you put your money into the offering plate, something special happens. It isn't just money anymore. It doesn't matter if you put in dollars or euros or Honduran lempiras. Your money becomes something new, something different, something special. You know, when I lived in California, I worked a lot of church camps. I would go to church camp every time I could. The kids liked it probably almost as much as I did. The kids I worked with would practically run from the car to the dining hall just to see who was there and who they got to spend the week with. But there was this one young man named Samuel. And he was always seemingly reluctant to come to camp. A person might think that he was forced to come, but that wasn't the case at all. Samuel lived in a home where he was the father for his little brother and sister. He was the head of the household at 16. His life was full of responsibilities. He was a serious young man. His reluctance wasn't just reluctance at all, but the fact that he carried a heavier burden than most. You know, throughout the week, he would start to open up a little bit. He was always pretty quiet. But there were times when you would be able to see smiles and laughter, and it would come forth, and you knew that his heart was just filling up. On the last night of camp, we have something that we call an affirmation walk. The kids would start off at the campfire circle, and then they would walk to the Redwood Cathedral, and counselors would be spread out along the path. And as they walked, one by one, they would stop at each counselor, and the counselor would affirm them in some way. You know, tell them something that they noticed that week that was special about them. And for some reason, Samuel was always the last kid to go. I don't know if it was because he was worried about being emotional on that walk, or if he just wanted camp to last a little bit longer. You see, Samuel wouldn't get to go to camp without campership funds. Your money makes a difference for kids like Samuel. Or take Juan Antonio of Seville, Spain. He's heard about the church for 17 years. He's known about Community of Christ for 17 years. And he has waited and waited for a time when Community of Christ ministers could come into Spain so he would be baptized. When it finally happened, late last year, the Spirit in that place was something to behold. Your money made it possible to walk into that country and to baptize a man who has waited for 17 years. You know, last year, there was a camp in Europe by the name of Eurotribe. If you don't know what Eurotribe is, it's a camp where youth and young adults from 7 different countries come together to learn from each other, laugh together, and get to know each other and commune with God. Here's what one camper said about the experience. Together we met from over 7 different nationalities, not even having one language in common. Yet we shared something special together that needed no communication. We shared in the Spirit of God. All were made to feel welcome and worthy, no matter where we came from, our experiences of God, or where we were going. Through the week, we shared in a fellowship that was unspoken. When you give money to the church, it turns into something different. It turns into the ability to walk into new countries. It turns into the ability to share the peace and ministry of Jesus Christ. But most of all, I think when we share money, what we're really sharing is love.